PlayStation.
Hello there, gamers. Today we're going to look at one of the more contentious devices that I have covered. This is the PlayStation Classic. I've been asked to do this one a few different times, and I've been kind of resistant to that request, largely because I really don't like doing video game systems that the hate train is out on, because all you get is a bunch of comments really that are from other people's videos and their observations, and I don't get as many personal observations. So if you watch like one of those Hyperbolic channels, please just don't bother, you know, with what they have to say. But if you got your own comment, I totally want to hear it, negative or positive, about the thing. I have a feeling that even with some time to cool down, I'm probably gonna have some disappointments with it. I will mention that I picked this up for about 35 bucks, and a lot of people paid 80. So the fact that it's 35 bucks now is probably gonna have a bearing on this. At 80 bucks, a lot of these things were gonna really torque me off. But let's get started with the front of the box. USB AC adapter is not included. See back for details. Alright, there is problem number one. This was an $80 device. I feel that if you're going to charge top dollar for a device, totally should have the AC adapter included. This thing's too big to just be plugging into your TV. Alright, I'm done with that part. Let's keep going on. PlayStation. I went from Super Nintendo to this. I was amazed the first time I played it. This old game system is for mature audiences only. Alright kids, come on, turn off the YouTubes. It cannot say PlayStation enough on this box. Amazing. This is the right side of the box. Are you ready to play? 20 incredible games that defined an era.
PlayStation.
Well, I like the little pictures on there. Good marketing, as to be expected by Sony. The left side of the box has some pictures on it. It does tell you that it does contain two controllers, which I think is really nice. I do like that because a lot of the PlayStation's appeal was for multiplayer. Here's its syphilis number. The top of the box is black as coal. Look at that fine bottom of the box. And here are all the games that are available. There's Battle Arena Toshinden, Cool Borders 2, Destruction Derby, Final Fantasy 7, ooh nice, Grand Theft Auto, also nice, Intelligence Cube, Jumping Flash, Metal Gear Solid, Mr. Driller, Oddworld, Rayman, Resident Evil, Director's Cut, Revelations Persona, I don't think I played that, Ridge Racer Type 4, I've played that, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Siphon Filter, Tekken 3, Rainbow Six, why? Twisted Metal and Wild Arms. Warning, if you have a history of epilepsy, you're toast. There's a bunch of writing here telling you that basically you cannot play the original PlayStation games, nor can it download games, so you're stuck with the 20. Now, we will be doing a hack episode in the future where we take a look at this after it's been hacked, so be ready for that. Alright, so here we go. Opening the box. I started to peel off the sticker earlier and then realized it was taking up the cover. It's kind of bad. I probably should have just cut it. Let's see, do we got a box in here? Yes, it's like most Sony boxing. That's very classy, huh? Oh yes, PlayStation. Alright, we do have a classic manual right here because it says PlayStation Classic on it. Device itself, I'll come back to that. Let's see what else is in the box. Oh yeah, it's coming apart. And everything's just kind of thrown higgly-piggly in there. It's a scientific term. Hold on. Alright, let's pull the rest of this out. It's not super exciting, the box. We've got two controllers, one USB adapter, one HDMI adapter, no AC adapter, plus the PlayStation itself. I'm gonna get a preliminary feel on this controller. It feels just like a PlayStation controller. I don't think I have any of the original PlayStation controllers to test it on. All mine are DualShock. But it does feel pretty nice. It's not bad at all. There's the USB adapter. Cables are about, what? 5 feet long? Right, so here we have the DualShock controller. It actually is about the same size as it. Apparently they just put the little nubs on below. The analog sticks below. Yeah, these are rubberized. The buttons are a little bit springier than the original ones. That might be because these are worn out. D-pad feels, yeah, very similar. Yeah, very close. So I think you could probably fool yourself into thinking this is the original one. It might be designed almost exactly the same. I'm not 100% sure. Let's look at the device itself. And here it is in all its glory. It's pretty light. The plastics feel pretty good. They're not cheap. I like that it's got a little space for the memory card there. Though it doesn't have memory cards. It's got some velvety feet. Here's the right side. Here's the back. HDMI, USB. There is a little cover here. No, it isn't real. Ah, nice. They just replicated the original cover. All right, let's look at it next to the real thing. Well, there we go. The original PlayStation and the PlayStation Mini. It's quite a bit smaller now, isn't it? Does look the same though. They did a very good job on this. My coloring might be a little bit off because it's a little bit old. The buttons feel springy. It's funny, they kind of feel like the original buttons too. It looks like they did a lot of work on the hardware. I mean, really, it does feel quite nice. It's not super heavy, but it's not super light either, and it has a good feel to it. So far, so good. Why don't we plug it in and play it?
Retro Rob plays everything.
So here we are on the main menu of the PlayStation Classic. Move left and right to choose different games. I'll scroll through them really quick with some comments. If you look down here, there are settings. Not a lot there, to be honest. There's some notices, screensaver, power save settings. You can restore the defaults. Reinitialize the console. The only thing it really asks at the beginning is what language, so I don't really know what the use is since you can change the language here. But, you know, it's there. I guess I'm going to go back. Some of the better things are if you do play a game, which I'm going to assume you do if you have this. I don't know what that comment was about. If you just exit out of it, it's going to save your game for you right here. So you can resume right where you left off. It also has the memory card, so it saves just like the game originally did. Those are all good things. Let's just scroll through the games real quick. There's just so little to this interface. It just nothing. They also did this thing that I don't like where, there's no real guides to the games. You just go to the website. That's kind of a negative. All right. So we do have a nice early 2000s aesthetic here. We've got Jumping Flash, Metal Gear, Mr. Driller, Oddworld, Rayman, Resident Evil Director's Cut, Persona, Ridge Racer Type 4, which is freaking great, Puzzle Fighter Turbo 2, Turbo, Siphon Filter, which is pretty darn good, Tekken 3, which is good, Rainbow Six, Twisted Metal, Wild Arms, Battle Arena Toshinden, Cool Borders 2, Destruction Derby, great game, Final Fantasy 7, I mean, you can't complain about that, Grand Theft Auto, Intelligence Cube, which a lot of people like, so it's kind of a rare game. My uncle had this. I already mentioned this, didn't I? I did. I already mentioned this, sorry. I'm going to mention it twice. Did I mention my uncle had it? Anyway, sad that he got rid of it. And we're back to Jumping Flash here. And we're going to start out with some Jumping Flash. And here's the thing. You know, I don't know why they use the PAL versions. It's one of the few things that I really just couldn't avoid hearing about it. You can feel it. I'll tell you right now that you can definitely feel the difference between the PAL game and the NTSC game. So I don't know why they used the PAL version. Now, you guys that are in countries that are used to PAL, I don't think you're going to notice too much, but I definitely notice it. That said, this is a pretty great game. I've heard quite a few complaints about the selection of games on here. I don't think that the games that they chose are bad. I think they're good games. I don't think there's enough of them. I think that's probably a big problem. I think they made some bizarre choices. Well, I should have just resumed. Oh well. Let's continue. Start. That's fine. And here we are with Jumping Flash, which is a great freaking game. One of my favorite PlayStation games of all time, and I've spent some time with it. And I'm going to tell you that this doesn't feel as great as I remember the game, and it's not because I'm remembering the game wrong. There is something not right, and I'm going to guess what's not right here is that they use the PAL version, which I have heard about, and it just feels a little bit off to me. And I have played it on a real PlayStation recently, so I know how it feels, at least in the NTSC version. And again, it's just a little bit off, and it really causes me some problems with jumping. Now, a few things about this game. Number one, this is probably one of the more playable first-person shooters and jumpers out there. And the reason is, you see how I am looking down when I jump? Here, I'm going to jump up, and now I can see down when I press the button again. That really helps you land on the platforms accurately. That is a big deal. It makes this game absolutely great. And I was, again, just blown away the first time I played this game. I just could not believe how great this game was and how unusual it was. Ah, I hate this block. Come on. There we go. Now I gotta wait. Yeah, by the time I get turned around. There we go. It's not terrible, though, and if you've never experienced the game before, this isn't like the worst way to experience it. It's just not as great as the NTSC version is, but it's mostly the same. I mean, the gameplay all is the same. It just suffers from the different frequency rate of the PAL system and how they just kind of translated that to high definition. It's just, I don't know, just doesn't feel quite right. Did I get them all? It's supposed to tell me how many are left. It will if I go on the exit, though. Maybe I got them all. Yep, stage clear. There we go. Alright, let's check out another game. Alright, so another quick note. Here I am in the game, and I want to quit out, but I want to save where I'm at. Now, it does have normal saves, as I mentioned, but I can also hit this reset button. It will go to the main menu, and it will ask you if you want to delete your old one, which is fine. But you'll always have a resume point there. And here we are with Ridge Racer R4, which is a fabulous game. Just one of the best games on the platform. One of the better arcade racers I think ever made. Really loved this one. It blew me away when it came out. I was kind of surprised that they didn't go with the original Ridge Racer based on some of the other choices that they made, but this is by far the better game. When I first started getting into retro gaming again, I mean just like kind of hardcore, I grabbed a PlayStation and I started playing this game on a projector. Now, this was years ago, and HDMI was just coming out. So it wasn't like a high-def projector. It was like an 800 by 600 projector tops. And this game looked amazing on it. It was just great. And yeah, I realize the graphics are getting really dated now, especially since they look pretty pixelated. But the gameplay is still just dead on, and it controls really well. The joystick feels just great in the hand joystick. The gamepad feels just great in my hands. This is a great, great game, even though I'm not a great player. Boy, I used to be a lot better at this, though. Ooh. Let's go look at another game before I continue to embarrass myself. Yeesh. And here we go. It's time for Mr. Driller, which plays amazing, as it should, because this was a great title for the PlayStation. I thought I heard some people complaining about this game's inclusion over some others, but you know what? This is an arcade perfect version of it, or at least a close to arcade perfect version of it. It was great, fun to play, and just a fun game for everybody. Ooh, almost died there. All right, gotta get that air, get that air. Oh, get out of here, get out of here. There we go. Okay. Whew. Not enough breaks in this game. Let me tell you, you gotta keep going. The first level's pretty easy, honestly. It's going into the second that starts killing you. And the third, fourth, fifth. I've played quite a bit of Mr. Driller, and this is probably my favorite version of it, other than the real arcade. Great stuff. Let's move on. I'm not really going to count this as part of the gameplay. This is Wild Arms, and I just want to point out that one of the better features of this, which is something we've already really gone through, is the fact that you can save wherever by just exiting the game. So, real quick, if I were to be totally sick of what I'm doing right now, or maybe my wife shows up and she's like, hey, we got to go do something, because, you know, you got to go do it right then. I could hit this reset button and do something I could never do in the original, which is make that resume point and go on. I think that's a really cool feature, and it's one of the things this console does really well. It's got a really easy to use save function. That gets a bravo. And here we are with Twisted Metal, which is a great freaking game. I'm willing to admit that there are better Twisted Metal games in the series, but this is the one I used to play absolutely the most, and that is because I used to play the multiplayer with my brother-in-law all the freaking time, and really, really just love the heck out of it. Where the heck is oh, there's somebody. No. Gotta go. Go. I got frozen. That is the worst position to be in. Like, stuck between two other cars. Alright, I gotta find some heals. Where the heck? Oh! No heals for me. I lost. But you never lose when you're playing Twisted Metal. And here we are with Battle Arena Toshinden, which is one of the early 3D fighters. And I realize that a lot of people do not feel that this is one of the better ones. Come on, you. There we go. I should have been able to roll out of that. One of the problems is that, again, they've chosen to use the PAL version, and Toshinden really wasn't that smooth of a game in the first place, and it really doesn't need the a little bit slower frame rate that we're getting here. You die. No. Get over here. As, you know, again, this one has not aged that well. It never was really the best 3D fighter. I think Virtua Fighter was a better game than this, but it's neat to play. Let's go on. And here we go with Rayman. In my opinion, one of the great platformers of all time. The graphics look amazing. It's just a very pretty game. I realize it's something that probably could have been done on a Super Nintendo, but it definitely looks a lot more lush here. And it's just really pretty great. There we go, save point. That's really nice. Get up there. There we go. Anyway, the controls are very smooth. It's fun to play. It's a good game. It's held up great because the platforming is solid, and that is a big deal. Hold on a second. Let's keep going here until the end of the level. And there we go. Just a little minute there of Rayman. Pretty game. All right, so what is the verdict on the PlayStation Classic? Let's start with the original price point, which I think was outrageous. I think that $80 was insane for this thing, especially given that it only had 20 games. I think the selection of games was really good. I loved the games that they included. I realize it's taken a lot of heat for it, but I really do think it was a good collection that represented the system very well. It was a combination of the eclectic and the very common and popular. But there just wasn't enough games. At $80, they probably should have included 40 games at least, maybe 50. There was a lot of PlayStation games they could have chosen from, and they owned a lot of the licenses. So really, there was no reason not to do that. I think the hardware is really well constructed. I think it feels great. It looks great. It's very attractive. I have no problems with that. I think the video output is nice. I know there's been some complaints about that, but I think it looks good enough. I mean, this is a PlayStation, for crying out loud. Not a big deal. As far as the fact that they didn't include an AC adapter, I think at $80, that's criminal. I realize that there's a lot of people out there that get annoyed that everything includes an adapter. I understand, landfills are full of them, but on an expensive device like this, having a reliable, dependable adapter that provides decent, clean power is super important. And you do not want to be plugging this into a super cheap one like I just did. By the way, I'm using like a super cheap adapter. So it was just chintzy of them not to include it. Overall, though, now that it's $40, how do I feel about it? $40 is okay. It means they're $2 a game. If you are okay with the fact that some of them were PAL games, and somewhere in this video I'm sure I listed the list of what games are PAL, and you are fine with the collection, go ahead and get it. The hardware is nice enough. I think the value in this is going to be with hacking it and having it run some PlayStation games really well. And I haven't seen the hack yet. I haven't tried it. So we're going to try hacking this, and I'm going to run through that with you, and I'm going to do a video about how I feel about it afterwards. But as it stands, at $80, it is a no-go. Forget it. There's no way I would spend $80 on this. At $40, it's even on. I like the collection of games. It's fine for me. I like the form factor. I like the fact that they included 2 joysticks. It's not bad at that price. I want to thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more. And I really want to know what you think about this thing. And those of you who have hacked yours, I want to know your opinion on that too. So please let me know about it. You can private message me if you don't want to leave a comment down below, but I'd enjoy it if you did. Thanks for watching. Bye.